Hello, I'm Steve Solot, President of the Latin American Training Center, LATC, a media training and consulting center focused on professionals of the audiovisual sector that offers technical training programs, publications, and workshops to contribute to the expansion of the audiovisual industry. I'm pleased to welcome you to the 12th online edition of our global film and TV program. As we have seen from the impressive schedule, we have organized a unique program including panels, presentations, master classes with Q&A sessions, and networking opportunities to provide you with a fully immersive experience and a new and deepened understanding of the global audiovisual industry. Thank you for joining our program this year. And on behalf of all our LATC staff, I wish you a rewarding professional and personal experience as you take advantage of everything our program has to offer this year. Enjoy.
Oh, hello. Okay, so I have a film festival. I have to come first, huh?
Yes, right.
Yes. Hi, from Vietnam. I'm a producer from Vietnam.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. And I have festival. The email from festival come to my mailbox every month. So I didn't know that it's you who behind the website. So very nice to meet you. So in 2018, I have a film in Toronto Film Festival under Discovery section. And in 2015, I have a film in Berlinale Festival under competition, main competition.
Amazing.
Those two experiences. Thank you.
It's amazing. It's an honor. And I hope you enjoyed the festivals. Were you able to travel there?
In both festivals, yes, I managed to travel. When I was in
Amazing.
Berlin, I was too young then. I mean, I didn't take advantage of the whole festival. It was my first time being in a festival. So actually, I didn't know much what to do, where to go, and don't maximize the experiences. But in 2018, I kind of learned a bit more how to be in the festival. But what I would say, I think a lot of experiences, I think, depend a lot on the sales agent. I realized that once being in the festival, the sales agent plays such an important role to manage everything and connect you to, all the related parties. Yeah.
Sure, of course. And I hope you enjoyed, well, perhaps on the second festival, enjoyed the networking because, well, I do think that festivals are your future. The sales agents and the sales of your film are the most important short-term element in your career, because once you made the movie, you need to get some return on investments, be able to make the second one. But anything you do in festivals is long-term, because I'm sure you know that once you've been to one festival, you can claim being an alumni and call them when you come with your second or third movie saying, hey, you were kind enough to watch my movie and select it. Take a look at this one. And not only is it some kind of a fast track, but also a way to probably not pay for the screening fee, the submission fee. And I don't have to tell you that once you have the film you want to put on the festival circuit, you're exposed to, let's say, 10,000 festivals, of which maybe 1,500 or 2,000 film festivals that are important, and maybe another 2 or 3 that are good, okay, that would look good with laurels on your poster, and then the rest. And of course, you can't afford submitting to 3,000 festivals, especially for feature film, where they charge 50. So it's one element. It's being friends with festivals, and you can always, because those people, the festival organizers, they love film, so you can ask for advice, you can ask for help, you can ask for recommendation. Can you recommend a good sales agent? Can you recommend someone that will help me on that subject? And the other element that I believe is very important is building a team, meeting people. Instead of going to the club or the bar, just go to filmmakers meetings and meet people and ask how they do it, who they know, where they did it. And now the last thing I want to say is once you've been lucky being selected and attending Cannes and Toronto, which are among the top 5, this is something very strong you can brag about. And next time you meet someone important, you can say, "Oh, you look familiar. I think, haven't we met in Toronto or Berlin, maybe?" Well, of course, Cannes is the number 1. So if you can say, "I think we met in Cannes," that's very, very important. So, can you think of your second questions? But in the meantime, we'll have Pedro on the line.
Hi, Bruno. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
I'm Pedro. I'm a screenwriter and actor. I'm from Ecuador, but I live in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I love your class because I love film festivals, especially the 3 big from Europe, right? Cannes, Venice, and Berlin. I wanted to ask, just to start a little bit smaller, not the 3. What do you think about going to these festivals, especially like Toronto, which is open for public, right? Like you can go and watch the films. I wanted to know, like, if you think that going to festivals without a movie, just going, that's my first question, just going to do network really is worth it? Or you think it's not, like it's better to just focus on doing the work, try to apply for a festival, and then try to go there and premiere the movie? Do you think the festivals are a good place to do network, even though you have nothing to release? Or
I do think, yeah. Well, first, these are 2 different things. When you're in the festival with your film, your main objective is to brag about it, to network, show it, and make sure the biggest number of people can watch it. But since you're young, I do recommend attending one very big festival just to understand the circus that's happening there, who does what, and learn from people's experience. And I would say Cannes is probably the best place in the world to do this, but Toronto being closer, it's also a good choice. The advantage of Cannes is that the festival is one thing, but the market is the biggest market in the world. That's above, more important than AFM, more important than TIFF, more important than Berlin. It's really very big. So you have the full exposure to both worlds, films, festivals, and film markets. And therefore, you'll see in the market more people, more sales agents, more buyers. Well, the buyers, they are kind of hard to find, hard to meet, but because there are more buyers in Cannes than anywhere else, if you're lucky, if you go to the right place and you're not shy talking to people, asking for advice, and then it's a good chance that you make important meetings. The other thing I want to say once is when in the film festival, really don't be shy. And I suggest you, if you are good with the camera, that when you see someone and you understand that his role is interesting, he's been around, he's been doing films before, he's a festival programmer, whatever, then just shoot this line, say, how about we make a 5-minute video interview for filmfestivals.com, and that's just an alibi. That's at first I'll be happy to post this, but that's the best way to engage the person in front of you, and And having said things, he might not tell you if you say, well, I'm a young filmmaker, haven't made a film yet, blah, blah, blah. But once he knows it's going to be on camera, he's going to say smart things. He's going to take the time to be explicit, to be, and he's going to be proud of it also. I mean, they always like to be on camera. So, and then after you've done this, you need really to be professional. You need to say, well, we'll be editing this and put this online on film festivals in a couple of days. This is my card, my email. Can I get yours so I can make sure that you see the video and agree to it? And that's the best way to start collecting business cards. It's very important when you go in a business event, festival or market, that you come back with 20, 30, as many business cards as you can. Just get that reflex. They say, oh, can I get a card? Oh, this is great. I hope we can stay in touch. So give me your card. This is mine, and you can make best use of it. So yes, I'll be happy if you do that. You send me a WeTransfer of your video. It can be with a good iPhone. You know, the video. If the light is okay, if the sound is not too loud around you, then it's likely to be a pretty good enough interview. You don't need to move, just straight headshot, and that's it.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
My name is Roello. I'm a filmmaker from Manila, Philippines, and I've attended some film festivals in Berlin, Berlinale. But
Good.
not to show my film. It's more like educational.
Sure.
The forum, and I like the parties. It's a big festival for me, and yeah, I got this chance to play percussion in one of the parties, and yeah, I also got to Busan. Yeah, I like Busan. Also Busan. So a lot of parties and networking for filmmakers. My question is, we have these mainstream festivals, big festivals, but there are also small festivals, like critical ones, like Marseille, Jeonju, and those festivals that are more critical. I mean, in terms of choosing films, like compared to other mainstream festivals. So.
And
Yeah.
What's the question? Is that worth attending, the smaller one, or what's
Yes.
the question?
Yes.
Well, first, just understand that there are, like I said, 10,000 festivals. There are big ones, which you call mainstream. There are specialized, like the documentaries or genre, horror, short films, all those are very important. I don't know if you never know what your future is going to be. You just can end up having a part in a role in a genre film festival, and it's always interesting to see how they do. It's interesting to learn how they do things, because you can take the experience you saw in one of these festivals, like a party you've attended, and next time you go to a festival, for instance, the party you attended in a smaller festival, where they do tend to have easier parties to attend and more, and take the lessons and apply them to what you'll be doing to your own party. I do think when you present a film in a festival, you must strive to make it look like an event. Not only put the film in the theater and hope that and pray for the attendance is big enough. You must actively look for eyeballs. You must actively talk to people, say, hey, my film is playing this afternoon or tomorrow at 4. You should come, you should watch, it's fun, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, we'll have a drink here. We all meet at this bar after that. It's going to be fun, something like that. So you must, and that's the most caricatural things I could say, but it's very important to recruit people. So make sure you're prepared. You've started inviting people before you come to that festival. You must start sending email. Try to find who's attending, which journalists are attending, whether you have family or friends in that city, then get from the festival a few tickets so that they can, so that you have a crowd that's your own, that will clap loud when it's funny, or laugh loud, or make you feel more comfortable. Build your house. That's very important. Make an event. Well, I'll come back to the party after that, but I don't know if your documentary, and I'm working on the documentary these days, that's about transition, about ecological issues, then make an effort to find someone very smart that lives in that town that you can get invited. You work that with the festival to have that person come on board with you at the introduction of the film and be part of the Q&A at the end, so that you have someone smart from a university, or also try to get, if there is a club, if your film is about, I have another documentary about cycling. Well, there are cycling clubs all over the world. So get to try to find some of them to maybe come and dressed up like they're ready to cycle. You have to find things that will make the experience memorable, and not only the experience, but also the photographic experience. So always think that you will need pictures of that. So you need pictures of yourself in front of the marquee. You need possibly a picture with you, with the director of the film festival or the programmer. That's just one more way to get friendly with him, so that you can call him in the future. And then, of course, get all these business cards. About the party afterwards, you don't have to. I've worked with majors and big studios in the past, so we were talking about parties that would cost $100,000 or something. Some did crazy parties for $1 million. And Da Vinci Code, for instance, they built a pyramid in Cannes and they spent a fortune. And but that gave the TV coverage much more than $1 million. So basically, they recouped that in free the clips in TVs and all over the world. But there's one way that very simple. You go to a bar and you tell them, look, I'm gonna bring 50 people between 7 and 8. Choose an hour that's not too busy for them, and I want a few good free drinks, so that we can say the first drink is free, and then everyone's going to pay for the second. By the time they're drunk, they'll forget that they have to, and they'll pay more easily because they are happy. But I mean, there are ways you can do parties. Try to work on a party that costs as little as possible, and all of those festivals. You never know who you're going to see. You may find experts in that field that will be important for your next film or whatever. So don't think that it's only worth attending Berlinale and Toronto and Cannes and Venice. You've no idea how much the festival organizers are working hard to make other festivals very sexy and and every festival has a different recipe. So you'll have fun, different types of fun, and different experience that you can ingest. Okay. All right. We have time for Tim, or maybe who's
Yes. Hello.
Hi, Tim.
Hello, Sir Bruno. I'm Tim Ron Villanueva from the Philippines, also a colleague
Nice.
of Ruelo. Yes, and I've joined before Durban, Slimani, and they recently attended Tashkent International Film Festival. As a newbie filmmaker, as aspiring filmmakers, we always submit films in Film Freeway or website, festival website platforms. And of
Right.
course, we receive a lot of rejections, and that's okay. And that's okay. We understand that. My question is it better to submit your films to programmers or festival agents rather than to submit it in a regular pathway, like submit it in the festival
Well,
designations
yeah.
or in website
Yeah.
platforms?
It's a good question. Yeah. Well, first you need to do both clearly. And the first part that you're mentioning, submitting directly to programmers, is much more efficient because you have a face, they'll know you, they've seen you, they've read an email from you, whatever. So it's personal. It's likely that some cases for the big festivals, these are not the people that actually watch, or because they have big committees, meaning the big number of people that are watching. And I'm a very frequent jury member, and you can't watch so many movies that they receive in the festival. Sundance receives 6,000-7,000. Cannes is receiving 1,500 or so, and no one can watch that number. So they split, and you have to watch 20, 30, which is already a lot, by the way. And sometimes those programmers will not watch the film until the end if they don't like the beginning. That's two things important I want to say. Is focus on the beginning of your movie. It's very important that you catch the attention very immediately. Don't think, well, teasing is a good thing, and no, I want to reveal the subject of my movie only as a surprise in 25 minutes. In some cases, it might be too late. Of course, work on the marketing elements. You really have to have the trailer when you submit. It's very important because some cases the people you are talking, either the one on a payroll to watch film through Film Freeway for the festival, or your friend as a programmer at Busan or whatever.
Quer subir aqui?
Sorry? Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
So yeah, I'm trying to finish that sentence. Sometimes they will mostly start by watching the trailer and see whether they. So all these elements are very important. The filmmaker statement, make sure your bio and all of that filmography is up to date in those platforms. But the best thing is really to talk to the programmers directly with an email and a personal note. With the reason why they should watch it. Someone, my friend, or someone who knows you recommended that I should talk to you about my film. Here is the private screener. I hope you and your team can consider it. And if you like it, I, of course, would be very happy to submit by Film Freeway if you share a waiver. Of course, what's good with knowing festival programmers is the chance that they watch the film until the end is stronger because they know you, and if they meet you again, they have to say what they think about the movie, and therefore they must watch it entirely. The most important is the personal relationship. It does not mean that if it's a friend, he will select it, but at least he will give you a chance of watching the film. And of course, remember that once you've been selected, it's really very easy to come back to saying, hey, this is my new movie. And it looks like, of course, when you write to someone you know, or when you attach a personal note in Film Freeway, try to make it more personal, saying, my film seems like a good fit from. I've watched the film that you've awarded, and it just happens. I love them. Maybe it's not true, but at least tell them that you think your film is a good fit with your with the editorial line. That's pretty important.
So, sir, just to reiterate or to highlight, it is better to submit to programmer or festival agents, and it is better to have a cover letter on it while submitting, and
Yes.
complete requirements. Yes.
Yeah, it can be the same. You just store it, and you don't really need to change it, but at least make sure you have in your cover letter, try to make it clear that it's a team effort.
Yes.
Just for instance, I'm a festival agent, so I help filmmakers, and I help them with a strategy and talking to all the festival directors I know, etc. But then when I submit for them through Film Fairway, I just attach a film a note that says that it's signed by the filmmaker and as much team members, because remember some screenwriters might be more known than the director himself. Also, I'm attaching my name because most of the festival in the world know me, or filmfestivals.com. So the fact that I'm telling them that's one of my protege, that's one of the film I have selected in my Best for Fest. It means that it's already been kind of curated. So basically, it's a safe message that the film has a certain type of quality for the festival circuit. Because you have no idea, being a jury, you have no idea how many films you see that shouldn't. Especially if you program a festival that does not have a screening fee. I mean, they're good. They're good because it can help you get more laurels. But if you don't have to pay, then you can submit shit. Forgive the language, but. At least if you have to pay $20 or something, you start thinking: is my film really worth? If you feel your film is worth going on the festival circuit, and I hope you do. I'm sure you do, because you're making efforts attending those things like LATC, etc. But it shows as the guarantee that the people will not really waste their time, because it's already, so make sure it's signed by, the names of people in the team, and finish by saying enjoy, because after all, it's about entertainment. So I hope you enjoy our movie, not my movie.
Bruno,
Thank you very much, Bruno.
I think you have a last question. Are you available for one more question? Pedro?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Pedro.
Hope to work with you, sir.
Thank you.
I have to make one last question. It's about the streaming services. Taking away Cannes Film Festival in France, I know that you cannot submit anything from a streaming service because they have a new law of 150 days, I think, from window from theatrical release. But there's a lot of vibes here in Brazil, especially because many directors, really renowned directors like Fernando Meirelles, are starting to work with Netflix. And one of the reasons they said that they love so much Netflix is because Netflix opens the door to have 50, 56 appearances in festivals, and that he absolutely loves it. I wanted to know if maybe streaming services, taking away Cannes, that is the best in the world, but talking about Venice, Toronto, Sundance, all the small ones in every city in the United States, here in Brazil, if they are opening spaces just for streaming services. Because I don't understand how Netflix is able to, or Amazon is able to open places for streaming and submitting releases in so many festivals at the same time. So I wanted to know exactly how does it work? Yeah.
the question is not extremely 100% clear to me, but well, first you see things are changing very fast. So, for instance, Cannes was hated Netflix and had a rule that no film that's not meant for the theater should come in the main section. It doesn't prevent the market of showing thousands, because in Cannes you have about 100 films showing in the selections and about 900 films that are being screened in rooms somewhere in the market. And some of them are actually more important than some of the films showing in the festival competition. That's why I'm saying the market is really most important, and the market is pushing the boundaries, is pushing the rules, and Cannes and other festivals have changed. And of course, festivals like Venice were happy to have films that were rejected by Cannes because of that. And of course Netflix is showing those films because they come from very well-known directors and are some kind of an event. And even a bad movie from Scorsese is a medium, because I love him, but a medium movie that maybe would not make such a great career on the theatrical in theaters is a big event for Netflix, which they can advertise. As a young filmmaker, the chances are that if Netflix is liking your movie, you should go for it, because that's the safe guarantee that you're going to be distributed. Some of the sales agents you will meet will say, yeah, I think your film has a chance, but they are kind of hoping it has a chance to fare in the theatrical distribution. And theatrical is getting harder, especially for films that come from foreign but have no big stars attached or directors. And you well know that the spendings you need to put in front of a release are so huge that people are taking less and less chances. So therefore, you might end up going with the sales agents, which will say, oh, I've tried, I couldn't find any distribution in theaters, but I have this deal with Amazon or Netflix. And of course, it's important, because it's important to have a relation with a sales agent for the future. They usually have a very good, an easy relation with the people that are buying content for those channels, which you may not have. But if you have that, if you have a direct contact with someone at Netflix who likes your content, and I think some of the people in LATC have that. I think you know who I'm talking about. Well, if someone at Netflix likes your movie and makes an offer, go for it, and that will bring you cash to make your next movie. What's important is you get this momentum of getting all afloat financially, so you can make more movies and grow better and more famous. And you won't be rich on your first film. Clearly, your chances are it's the opposite. So someone helps you with go for it and enjoy the benefits of that.
Thank you very much.
Some of the sales agents, some of them are more than sellers. They can help you with thinking about marketing, about next projects, can come as a financier of your next project, especially if you got lucky being with the films that work. So that's one of the networking miracles that you can have, which is someone who helps you think and brainstorm and develop your next film into a better project. That's something you must always keep in mind: is don't make film, make a better film. If you have a free moment, then start thinking again about the scenario and even if it's the 25th or 67th new edits of your script. It has to go through those stages.
Thank you very much. And thank you for the cover letter. I'm going to be reading.
Good. I'm happy. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, Carol, jump in.
Hi, Bruno. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Carol Freitas. I'm from Brazil. I have attended festivals, but only never with my films, just observing. I've been to Berlin Film Festival and a couple other festivals in Brazil. But I was wondering about indie low-budget films, especially those that are more niche. Like I'm developing my feature. It's a lesbian romantic comedy. And I was wondering if I could get your advice about festivals, if it would be better to do small thematic festivals to as a low budget, as an indie film, to get a bit more of a name and then go to the big ones like Cannes, or is it better? What your advice would be about it?
Sure, Vanessa, if you agree, maybe I'll answer one question per attendee and then move on and go back to other questions if you like. So I'd like to answer this question because it's a very important one. When you design your festival strategy, you're always scratching your head. Should I wait? Should I apply for Berlin, Cannes, Toronto, Venice, or Sundance? And if you do, you have to realize that, for instance, if you wanted to wait for Cannes, then that would kill any other participation, mostly aside from your own territory, of any festivals around the world, meaning sitting on your film for another 6 months. And my guess, as you describe low budget indie film, is you can't afford that. You have to move, you have to monetize as much as you can, and preparing for your next movie. So my advice would be first to go to as many film festivals as you can, because the more, the better. The more festivals you attend, the more people you know, even if some of them you don't attend, because you'll be now somebody who is on the radar of festival programmers, which will help for your next films. The other big question is, my film is a genre film. Should I go to genre fest or larger ones? And again, I think I'll make in France, we say an answer from someone in Normandy. They never say yes, no. They say both or maybe. Anyway, I'd say ideal would be both. And I'm sure you'll get lucky in the niche ones, but you need also the ones that are more generic. Just because you'll meet new crowds, you'll meet new talent, new buyers, new opportunities to learn more, because maybe your next film will be in a different genre. Plus, it's always interesting to see how specific those festivals are. For instance, I'm thinking of the festivals that have a focus on horror or fantasy. They do parties that are different from any other type of festivals. And if once you experience that, you may want to try that in another place, which will surprise a lot of other people. So you never know the little tricks that you learn here and there. And of course, I don't have to spend too much time on because I'm sure we'll spend more on that subject, which is whenever you go to a festival, there's lots of things you need to do to prepare, to recruit audience, to brag about, to be ready with material to give out, and to make it an event, including a party and bringing people that can be advocates for your film, etc. So it's likely that the festivals within your niche domain might be more friendly to you and give you access to submitting, maybe with a waiver, whereas the other ones won't. Maybe we build so so generous. So, but yes, it's important to not only focus on your niche, but think larger, because some of the bigger festivals have niche festivals. For instance, Midnight Hours for horror, fantasy, they have some LGBTQ, etc. Sections here and there. They have, in Berlin, they have a special price for that, etc. So, of course, it's important to budget all of that, because submitting can be a little bit expensive. Should we move on?
Yeah, that's a
just think of another question. But I hope I answered your.
So,
Carol,
hope that answers your question, Carol. Okay, Kopedi, you want to ask a question? And
hi, thank you, Vanessa. Hi, Bruno. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
I'm good.
Hi.
I'm good. I'm Kopedi, and I'm from South Africa.
Right.
Yes, I have attended the Durban International Film Festival, which is what happens in South Africa, a number of years. And I found it to be quite fruitful, because that's where I met a number of people that I've been working with ever since. Now,
Sure.
Unfortunately with the COVID, obviously, it's an online thing and it does not have the same effect.
Right.
I prefer a much more, personal interaction, getting to meet the person and getting to feel what kind of a person they are. Anyway, my question to you is there a film gateway, where, or maybe a gateway for film festivals where we can maybe, make submissions for short films? Because I just completed a short film earlier this year, and I'm really struggling with finding distribution for this film,
Sure.
And obviously, as a film producer or any other filmmaker, when you make a film, you want people to see your film, So with your experience, would you say, is there a film gateway? And if so, how do I find this film gateway
Sure.
or this gateway into film festivals?
Well, I'll make thanks for the question, Kopedi. I'll make two answers. One, there are portals. That's one kind of technical way to answer your questions. There are websites where you can describe your film, enter the marketing assets, upload the film and the trailer, a director's statement, cast and crew info, and any kind of other information, including whatever reviews you may have had, etc., and other festivals, awards you may have. So these are very famous, and you can find them on filmfestivals.com very easily. So the first and most important one would be a Film Freeway, which I believe covers, I can't remember the last count I saw, was, let's say, 5,000 film festivals, which is probably half of the total number of festivals around the world. There are other ones like Fest Home, Without a Box died a few years ago, but yes, there are plenty. With Film Freeway, you'll have maybe 70% of what you need. The good thing is, for you, the subscription, the registration is free. You don't have to pay anything to register and to upload everything and as many as you want. The other good thing is it opens a door to, like I said, thousands of festivals, which you can browse by dates, by genre, by country, by a lot of criteria, including checking the ones that are free. So you'll find a complete and exhaustive, as of today, listing of all the portals that offer that opportunity for short and feature and documentaries. For many European festivals do not charge submission fees, by the way, in Europe, which is not the case in the US. Well, the other The other answer, which is a little bit less obvious, I can make to your question is you need to be seen, to be looked and to be searched by festivals. Basically, you need to gain a little bit of awareness in important places, and that includes being active on social media. That includes, for instance, and it's not because it's my own, but filmfestivals.com is a place like that which connects filmmakers and festivals, and where you can open a profile and publish for free, explaining what your film is, where it played, etc., etc. So the first important thing is to gain awareness so that people hear about you in the professional areas, in places where film professional in the film industry are attending. I'm not saying that Facebook or Twitter is the ultimate paradise, because there's so many other things you can lose your time on Facebook, like watching cats and whatever, stupid videos. But anyway, I recommend to open profiles everywhere and promote, self-promote. The next important step is being selected in important festivals. Of course, it's not an easy thing, but once you have been selected and therefore appear on the festival website, let's say, as far as shorts are concerned, the Clermont-Ferrand would be your first gateway, if you to name it, because it's the biggest festival for short films in the world, happening in January in France. There is a place where you can submit on their website called Short Film Depot. And again, it's a little bit like a film freeway. Once you've registered, you can apply to other festivals if you want to try it, and if you want to spend whatever they take in case they charge submission fees. So let's say, imagine you're selected to a big festival like Clermont. Your name, your film, the film name will appear in the catalog, on all the press releases of the lineup, etc., etc. And that is honestly one of the best ways of starting a path, because they will look for you if you are part of the big festivals. And that is the case of the big festivals in the documentary and the feature films. Last thing I want to say is an obvious choice as far as short films is Cannes. Cannes Festival has a lot of sections, including section for shorts, which are less difficult to enter than the feature film, but still hard because they need some famous talent in it, etc., to be safe. The other thing I want to suggest is part of the Cannes film market, Marché du Film, which has a section for shorts called Short Film Corner. There is a cost attached to that, but it brings in a lot of privileges. It brings in also in the same for the same price, but that package you get a market badge. The market badge is usually, for anyone else, is 300 and 400 euros, which allows you to navigate the Cannes Festival and market. So this is very important. There's a lot of filmmakers that you can meet regularly, daily, with meetings and panels and keynotes and master classes. Your film is part of the library that the short film buyers can watch, etc. And of course, being in Cannes with the right badge, the market badge, it's your chance to meet and exploit that opportunity by really going after people, and don't be shy, and talk to them and ask them for advice, and bring in a lot of business cards that you need to distribute, and including a link to your short film, which can be either a link or a QR code you put on the business card, etc. Don't bring in DVDs. Those days are over. You don't need to carry a bag with even postcards. I think are obsolete. I'm not a big fan of these because you put them in your pocket, and next thing is you put it in the trash because you don't have enough room in your pockets. So, but yes, you might say is expensive, and travel extra is expensive, but it's a very, very important and very educational moment. All right.
Okay, thank you, Bruno. Awesome. Guadalupe.
Thank you, Vanessa. Hello, Bruno.
Hi, Guadalupe.
I am Guadalupe Granados Basabe. I'm from Mexico. I'm based in Mexico City. In terms of festivals experience, I've been to Guadalajara and Guanajuato, which are the most, I guess, two of the most important festivals here in Mexico. And I also
wanted to go to those one, actually. Guadalajara sounds so amazing.
Yeah,
beautiful.
It's good. It's good. If you ever need any help in that, I mean, I'll be glad to help you with. And I also went 7 years ago to Cannes. It was such a great experience. I mean, I was there as a student, so I mean, it was like a very, immersive experience. Though as I was listening to your masterclass, I think there were so many things that I missed because it was the first time, and I was kind of lost in terms of the huge event and so on.
Yeah.
And my question is, I am currently developing a short film, a short animated film. I know that in terms of animation, Annecy is like, the best festival, number one festival, exactly. And I was also, I mean, I'm still in a very early stage in terms of, of the project. And, but also, I mean, if I think in the future, what would be like the best, I mean, I know Annecy, but what would be like a second option that may not be directly in France, as you just mentioned, perhaps the short film corner at Cannes or maybe Annecy, but is there any other festival that could be good in terms for animation or for children content?
Well, first you mentioned Cannes, there's more than that. I started something when was that? 2014? I don't know. A couple of years ago, I started something called the Animation Day in Cannes, based on recognizing that Cannes is the most powerful tool when you know how to use it, because you have 5,000 media attending, plus all the key decision makers. But the festival mostly focuses on features, a little bit about docs, mostly on features, and very rarely on animation. And except when Pixar or Disney have one that they want to offer to the world and the exposure that it gives. So basically, a film in the one of the competition is very rare, and that the only type of thing you hear is like big animation, expensive, studio-like, etc. So we, having been in Cannes over 30-something, 35 or something like that times, I know how, if you take advantage of all these assets you have, all the media, etc., the possibility of networking, it would be a good thing to help animators. So we created this with the small means, like independent production, helping focusing on helping the community and having panels, organizing screenings, a selection of the best from animation festivals, like showcasing the best animation in the world, the one that had won in Annecy at the Oscar, at the you name it, all kind of. So basically, we did this, and make the long story short, Cannes decided it was such a great idea that they wanted to take it from me, and they did. Against a little tap on the shoulder and a little help. But that is Cannes. I think basically they think they own everything. They own Cannes and everything is being done in Cannes. But anyway, No hard feeling because that's life and I have other matters to focus on. But the good thing is it continues. I had of course, asked for their help or suggested that we partnered, and they say no. The animation day in Cannes now it became animation days. Good thing that they want to make it in a couple of days. They partner with Annecy, which is a good thing because it's a number one, that they know what they're doing. And they brought in the Variety partnership also, which if Variety is willing, can bring good things. And even though filmfestival.com has a database which is like 3 times the number of subscribers of Variety. Anyway, just because now you're part of it, you know that. You're part of it because I just added it. If you don't like it, basically you can just unsubscribe in anyway. So this being said, I still think that Cannes is the strongest place to network, to meet people, to meet powerful people, to see sales agents, which can help. There are far more sales agents and buyers in animation. That might sound strange in Cannes than in Annecy. Maybe also because people who buy animation buy other stuff, and if you buy other stuff, you have to be in Cannes. Anyway, Annecy is wonderful. It's an amazing place, really nice, and it's kind of a student atmosphere. There are lots of young people, young students, aspiring filmmakers, etc., and they do a lot for that community. So it's good. But the good thing is the dates are pretty close. So if you plan a trip, you can do both. Start with Cannes and go see some family somewhere, and then move to Annecy and continue networking. Both cities, by the way, are very expensive. That's the only problem is anytime you want to book a studio or something, it's going to cost you €1,000 or something like that, or let's say several hundred, plus the trip, plus the food, etc. So it doesn't come cheap. But look, it's a long-term thing, and animation is, I think, has a little bit more potential to sell than a lot of other genres. So I would say it's a good investment in your career and your project. Besides, there are plenty of other festivals dealing with animation. There are a few ones in Germany. I can't remember FMX or there are plenty of them around the world. But I'm not sure I could name one that will bring an experience that will enhance your project and help you develop and grow. I'm not sure.
I think any of them. Any of them, I think, right? As long as it makes sense. Jonathan, do you have a question?
Yes. Hi, Bruno. I'm Jonathan. I'm also from Mexico. I'm a producer, and I don't know how to. I was thinking how to ask my question, but here it goes. I mean, there are so many festivals. I was thinking how to ask my question, but I'm gonna try to do it. I mean, I'm Jonathan. I'm a Mexican producer, and there are so many festivals. And then I became friends with a couple of programmers of different festivals, and they were like confessing to me that they receive like literally thousands of movies. So there's no way that the programmers can actually watch all of the movies. So they have like I don't know if friends are maybe relations or friends or recommendations that push the most of the movies. Also, I think that if I have a good movie, it will be seen eventually. But which suggestion would you share to me to I mean, do I as a producer has to invest in maybe 200 different festivals and in 200 200 different relationships to try to push my movie, or just to subscribe it to the ones that I like and see what happens? Which advice could you give in this complicated situation?
Yeah, I was thinking about becoming a Normand again, a Normand, and saying, yeah, do both, do all. But basically, in the film festival world, the more, the better. And not only the bigger, but the more, for many reasons, because one, more laurels if you're selected to many, it look good on your poster. Each time you meet each time you're selected, the next time you go to the festival with a new movie, you can just email the festival director and say, hey, my film was played like 3 years ago. Remember, you selected this movie and I won this or that or not. And I have a new one. Can you share a waiver? But anyway, this notion of discovering talent and following them is important to many of the smart programmers and the festivals around the world. Of course, the big ones in Cannes, for instance, once they started discovering the Coen brothers, they'll follow and they play any films on Coen brothers or Tarantino or Scorsese or you name it. Yeah, anytime. So, hey, I have a new movie. Great. Finish it in time, please. But anyway, so the more festival directors you know, the better. You mentioned developing relationship. Yes, it's vital. And whenever you go to a big festival, please be aware that, let's say in Cannes, that's another reason for the other questions I answered. In Cannes, for instance, you have about 400 or, depending on the year, 400 to 500 or 600 festival directors attending. And believe me, the biggest festivals are represented there. So in other words, it's the best way to do your shopping. But, well, the sad thing, the complicated thing in this is the fact that they're busy. They watch 7-10 films a day. So they're basically flying from one screening room to another. So to catch them is hard, but if you're lucky, you can. So it's the same thing in Berlin, in Sundance, in Toronto. There are many who go to the large festival to shop for the new films, the new trends, and the ones that are hidden in the market. So that's the reason it's important to always have a stock of business cards in there and prepare your trip if you go. Trying to check. I'd recommend to register on Cinendo, the platform that's from Cannes, where you can see who's attending. You can see if you select festival programmers, you can see the names and their emails or their cell phone and their face, so that if you meet them in a cafe at 10 in the morning or whatever, and say, "Oh, Mr. Thierry Frémaux, I'm sorry to bother, just wanted to tell you that." Anyway, so that's one thing. Another idea, perhaps crazy idea, whoever among yourself here, I'm talking to your colleagues here, whoever likes to shoot interviews, and I'm talking like a very basic one-on-one interview of a festival director, that would be a very good alibi. You meet someone you know is a festival director. It can work also with another producer and someone famous or whatever. Say, "Oh, would you mind giving me a 3 minutes interview?" And you just make sure, even if you only have an iPhone, that would work, provided you don't move, provided you make it stable, there's not too much sound around you, and the light of the sun is in the right position, then it's going to be okay. Does not need to be Oscar quality, but it will be okay. And then you send it to me by WeTransfer, and I'll post it. So you can actually safely talk to festival programmers, directors, or big producers or actors saying, oh, if you don't mind, I'll be shooting this for filmfestivals.com, which is the leading platform dedicated to matchmaking between film and festivals, with a database of 165,000 film professionals and a weekly newsletter. All you need to remember is that, and the chances are they can give you 5 minutes. Then after those 5 minutes, of course, you'll need to get his card or her card so that you can say, I'll send you the video and see if you're happy about what you said there, and so we can post it. And then you have the email and you can use it. You can also say, oh, by the way, I have a film which I think is a total fit with your editorial lineup, editorial strategy, because it deals about blah, blah, blah. So that's a good way to pitch. But in those big festivals, you have to show them that you're part of their world, that you've been around, that you've been to Cannes before. Maybe, I think, maybe we met. Don't we? I believe we met. Maybe in Cannes, I don't know. So say something like that. And we see so many people in those big events that you forget who you saw, and chances are he will say, yeah, maybe, but you can move on and say, and then he will understand, he or her will understand you're part of that world where it's okay to talk and to listen. Otherwise, maybe they say, well, I'm not talking to people I don't know. I'm busy. I have this other interview I need to run. But so it's important to gather these 200 or 300 friends in the festival circuit, as you say. It's important to pitch them smartly, saying why you believe it's a good fit for their editorial line. Maybe saying, after I had a look at the films you've awarded in the past year, I do think my film fits, blah, 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 whatever. And then go subscribe Film Freeway and continue shopping there, selecting the ones that are free first, and then carefully selecting the ones that you believe are very important to your project. If it's a documentary, then you pick the 3 or 4 or 5 top documentary film festivals, and then all the rest. Again, I must stress then, when you prepare, when you budget your film, you need to include a little bit for your festival fair, your festival circuit. You need to book, you need to account for a little bit of traveling, a little bit of accommodation. Some festivals will offer accommodation, very few will offer flights. And you need to look at a certain amount of cash for submission, especially if you begin and you don't have this access to other festivals you've been to that will offer you some waiver. But I must say it's okay to pitch for waivers. It's okay in general. I'm doing this a lot. I'm my second business is, well, one of my businesses is helping counseling producers and directors on the festival circuit for films I've seen and that I've identified as good festival candidates. The ones, and all I do is pitch for waivers. I mean, all I do know, I offer a lot of awareness, a lot of advice, etc. But in terms of pitching, I have no shame in asking. It's easier for me because I say I have a bunch of great filmmakers I know I've selected. On their behalf, I'm asking if you can help them by waiving the fee because they have extended blah, blah, blah. And then I discreetly say, in return, I'll be happy to help. I'll be happy to help with a little bit of publicity for your festival on filmfestivals.com. That's a fair, of course, if someone is nice to people I'm working with, I'll be nice to them. So it's very simple.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you, Bruno. Simon, do you want to jump in there?
Yeah, hi. My name is Simon, and I'm
Hi,
a
Simon.
Taiwanese Canadian filmmaker. And I've been to Cannes Short Film Corner and Osaka Film Festival. And do you have any tips that how do we find investors, potential investors, or like potential producers in the festival to work with?
Well, that's a $1 million question. That's of course very difficult, because who is an investor? How describe an investor? It's someone who can help with cash or ideas or in kind, and you shouldn't neglect the two parts, the two last things I just mentioned. It's not only about cash, but someone who comes in saying, well, I can help as a screenwriter or an experienced screenwriter, awarded or writer, or you name it. I can help you with the script. Or as a sales agent, I'm willing to do this or that. And if you tell them, oh, no, I'm only looking for cash, you might miss an opportunity. I'm a strong believer in the win-win-win things, where if you identify someone else's interest and you give him something, he will give you something else, which will both help you get to an upper stage, to a nicer place where you want to be, not necessarily in terms of cash, but also in terms of a better marketable film, or better scenario, or better many things, right? So this being said, your question is about cash investors, and it's important to understand that these are like the lords of the ring here in any big festival. They are the most sought after people. In other words, everyone will be trying to get a meeting with them, meaning when they come to Cannes, they will be busy up to their head with meetings every 20 minutes. So if people want to take some of their cash. So what my biggest advice is, be prepared, prepare yourself, start and pitch a few weeks before the event. Start getting the emails. And again, if you mentioned Cannes, being accredited and registered through the Short Film Corner to Cannes Cinendo platform, you can see who is in. You can browse and select the buyers and email them like 2 or 3 weeks before, saying I'll be, and now then you need to work on your marketing pitch. You need to find a very good reason why they should give you some time and consideration. So make sure that the pitch you're doing is attractive and is presented in a nice HTML form that looks professional, that you have sufficient supporting elements. And so the biggest advice is start early, start nicely, with nicely designed marketing and communication. And another kind of small tip I'm thinking of as we speak is make sure you identify whoever is in the target you have in all the panels and keynotes that the festival has to offer. Most festivals and market have maybe 5, 10, 15 events a day, panelists, which you can identify with their name. You can then find their email on the Cinendo database, and you know that they are buying for Netflix or whatever. So my best advice is go there and listen to them and see what they're interested in. And well, if you're lucky and if you have the guts, and if you're very lucky, after they finish their speech, you can flock with the other people that really want to talk to them, and be among the first one to show your business card with a little word saying, "Hey, Larry," or "I really liked your speech," "I have a project, I need to talk to you, let's email when you have time," whatever, at least something like this, and make sure. So yeah, you don't underestimate that moment when the speaker comes out of the speaking chair. They are open. It's a time where they have their window open for question, suggestions, and so it's important. So prepare, run fast, be there first, and talk to them, and just be sure that you have a 10-second pitch in that circumstance. You have a 10-second pitch ready. Maybe 30, they go, tell me more. Then you have a second stage where you give them a little bit more longer one, 30 seconds or so. But consider that your goal there will be, let's have a meeting, not now, but let's take a meeting. So the goal is to have another meeting, not necessarily you won't solve everything in one. I have a service like for companies that are ambitious in a way and know my services. What I do is against a fee. I help them prepare a communication strategy which will reach those decision makers in my database, because I have them all in my database. So the trick is to give the film that we need to sell, or either find an investor at script level, or preferably at finished level or post-production level. The trick is giving out a variety of signals. Because those people are so busy that one message will not reach them for sure. It's not like you take an arrow, send an arrow, and it will reach some of them will not reach the target because they don't open their email. So you have to get their attention by a variety of actions, including on filmfestivals.com website, on the newsletter, which we send out every day, on, let's say, the Cannes dailies, which we do. We have dailies with about 600 news. And so it's important to consider maximizing the chances to reach this target by sending out multiple messages with multiple angles and different. It's not like what I learned in the advertising agency in my early days was, okay, unique selling proposition, whatever, USP, which the American ad agency invented. Basically, you were saying, whatever, skip washes clean or whiter, whatever, and you repeat that. Only thing is you repeat the same shit. And nowadays, you have to think differently and say things to people where you think they will be receptive. So, and in other words, send different messages. As far as my perception of my job when I was a distributor running Fox or Sony, I described that as being a go-between a film and an audience, and putting together tools to reach them in a variety of ways. And I described myself almost as a painter rather than as a painter which would do like the impressionist, like a touch of red here, touch of yellow here, touch of, and if you look back, it makes a painting that's worth $1 million, like Gauguin, whatever. And so it's important to give the right message to the right target, and don't be scared of sending out different signals. Right?
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Well, any last advice, Bruno? Because we're gonna have to close this meeting. But if you have any last advice, then
did I get all the questions?
Okay.
And no more questions?
Yeah. Yeah,
No?
I think we have to close now,
Okay.
but thank you so much, Bruno. It's
You're
been
welcome.
awesome. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
You
Thank you
take
so
care.
much. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Thank you.